Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Too Legit to Crit, a show where two nobodies talk about tabletop role-playing games because we've got nothing better to do. My name is John Santana.
And I am still, once again, Justin.
Still Justin.
Still hasn't changed.
That is... I'm glad to see consistency in you, Justin.
Yeah, I know. I've been consistent with my name for 35 years now.
That's a good track record.
Right?
Yep. So, how are you? Are you feeling particularly festive this past weekend? Have you been...
No. Not at all. I've just been enjoying the time off work, if I'm completely honest.
Have you not gone down to London and waved the Union Jack?
No, I haven't.
I'm disappointed, Justin.
Have you?
Well, I'm Spanish.
I'm not English either.
No, that's my excuse. I'm a Spanish.
Yeah, I'm South African. We got independence like a while back. I can't give you the exact date because we don't really care about it, but we got it.
At one point, we were the enemy, so yeah, we got to keep that one quiet because we got fucked.
I mean, you rolled that one on your war check.
We did indeed.
Mm-hmm.
But, now we've got good old King Chaz.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's exciting times here in the UK where very few people actually give a shit from what I can tell.
Yeah, that seems to be the overwhelming thing I've established. Is some people either give too many shits or no shits. There was no in between. Yeah,
I got that as well. I think where he's been, let's just say, a bit of a polarising character over the years.
One way of putting it.
That's one. Yeah, no. Him and his brother. Although his brother is substantially less polarising.
Yeah, I think there's only one way to feel about that one.
Yeah, there is. I noticed he wasn't looking after the kids.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, it's
Very
6
quickly.
episodes in and we're going to get cancelled.
Yeah, that was we had a good run.
I was bound to say something eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be one of us. My money was on you.
My money was on me as well.
Yeah, it's where the safe money was. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, you were definitely the odds-on favourite for that.
So, what have you been doing in the tabletop role-playing sphere this past week?
So the stuff I've been doing has been quite indirect. So obviously, last episode we talked about the new character that I'm going to be playing, the Warlock twins, right?
Yes, we did.
I wanted to do something that I've never really done before, but I wanted to kind of do more on the roleplay side of things with this character. And obviously, as I've said on previous episodes, I have a couple 3D printers. So I started 3D printing a staff top to go onto some leftover PVC pipe from my desk, like my table build. So basically, I've taken all of the previous episodes worth of stuff, right? And I've compiled them into what I did this weekend for this episode.
Okay.
So all of the leftover bits from previous episodes led me to this point. So essentially, I've got a length of PVC pipe that is like the perfect length for a staff. And browsing one of the many websites that has a lot of like downloadable 3D printing files, I found a really cool like staff topper. It's got like a crystal and all that sort of thing, like really, really nicely held. Looks really, really beautiful. And the guy that designed it was like 5 million IQ because he designed it with all of the like slots and grooves and holes to run wires up for LEDs.
Okay.
So you can light this like crystal inside, right? So that you can give this crystal like a glow. So I've done a test build. I'm going to send you a photo now because once again, I've been good and I've kept it all under wraps. I'm really proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
So I'm going to send you a picture now.
Where are you sending it? Are you sending it via Instagram?
Over on the gram, yeah.
Over on the gram.
Over on the gram. So I'll send you a picture over there of the staff topper.
Holy shit, that's elaborate.
Right?
That is really cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the staff topper. I've still got to paint it because obviously it's just in the black PLA plastic that I printed, and then I've done like a really thin white for the crystal, which is hollow. So when I do reprint it for the LEDs, because this one doesn't have the LEDs in it, this is just like a test fit because it's quite a fiddly piece to put together. So I wanted to kind of like make sure I could put it together, and I'm not a complete idiot. So I've built it, and I'm going to put that on top of a staff, which is going to be made from PVC pipe, because I found a really cool method for taking PVC pipe and a heat gun and a Dremel, which are all tools that I happen to have lying around for some reason. Can't possibly be because I do a lot of crafting with foam. And you can take a PVC pipe and essentially turn it into like a wooden staff, right? So you can use the heat gun to kind of like mold it and twist it and kind of give it like some natural shape. And then you use the Dremel tool to kind of like scuff it up and give it wood grain down the length of the pole.
Okay, yeah.
And it kind of gives it like a proper like wood texture, especially once you paint it and then you start like, you do all your dry brushing and your washes and whatnot. And you get a really, really cool finish doing it that way. So that's the plan. So at the moment, I'm at the point where the staff topper is done, and I'm going to start on the actual staff bit this week, probably. And hopefully, by the next time we record, I will have the staff built and ready to be painted.
I think it looks really cool. It's almost torch-like.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that that sort of shape to it, where you've got the crystal that's been supported by three sort of strands, for want of another word.
Yes.
It is really cool, and as we speak, I'm actually uploading it to our Instagram.
To our Instagram, yeah. That was the plan. But yeah, so I'm really excited for that, and it kind of brings me to a topic I want to talk about a bit later on, which is cosplaying at the table. And just kind of having a chat about that, because it's something that I will be experimenting with in the near future.
Oh, yeah, I look forward to talking about it. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on cosplaying at the table. Mm-hmm. All right.
What about yourself? What have you been getting up to?
Not a massive amount. Kind of had a bit of a filler session on Monday with the homebrew, as I'm still writing the casino heist.
Yes.
I'm thinking of taking some inspiration from Blades in the Dark. From that, and not really solidified how that's going to manifest yet. But it's definitely something I'm toying with, more like a narrative structure as opposed to anything mechanics wise.
Yeah.
So I've been prepping that, but also we've got this convention coming up next week. This week now.
This week now, yeah.
So that's been a whole bunch of prep.
I can imagine, yeah.
But it's one of those things that today I kind of thought, oh shit, I've got all this to do and all that to do. And then I kind of looked back and went, wait a minute. I've got everything on Obsidian. Mm-hmm. I've printed out any maps I needed. I've printed out any tokens I need. I'm actually doing quite well in terms of prep. I think right now what I need to do is kind of go over the adventure a few times just so I've got it kind of
just kind of familiarise yourself with it all.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of the last step. But that's going to be at the weekend. So my games for this week and probably next week just been cancelled because I've got 20 plus hours of gaming at the weekend to get through.
I mean, there are worse reasons to cancel your game.
There are indeed.
I'm cancelling because too many games.
Cancelled because of the coronation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my week in a nutshell. I've still got prep to do, but I'm quite confident that I'll have everything ready by the weekend.
That sounds good. I look forward to hearing all about the convention and how it all went.
Yeah, it's a cool cool adventure that I'm running as well. Haunted house,
I do love a haunted house adventure.
cosmic sort of horror, which I've been really getting into lately. Not only with Delta Green, but just reading up on some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that sounds good.
Right, so shall we talk about some news?
I think we shall. I think that's a good idea.
Have you got anything for us?
Of course I have, because I definitely did my homework.
No, well, it's always good for you.
For once. So the first thing we're going to have a chat about is Wizards of the Coast revealed a bunch of stuff at their Creator Summit last month, which some of it I'm really excited for. Some of it I'm hoping isn't just saying for the sake of saying. And some of it I'm kind of I saw coming, and now they've kind of made it official, which I kind of was like, I've been saying it for ages, and now they've done it. So the first bit is the bit that I'm really, really hoping happens is the support for schools and clubs that they announced. So they're looking to put a bunch of initiatives in place to support D&D for kids, students, schools, stuff like that. And putting together like kits for like teaching and stuff like that for like in these schools, and like art school club kits and things like that. And obviously with young kids, and one of our good friends and someone who listens to the show quite a lot actually, their eldest is in an after school D&D club. So this kind of thing would be really, really cool for them, to get that support from the creator as well. And they're also mentioned something about putting a D&D Beyond educator license together. So I'd be really intrigued to see how that kind of works and pans out. And then the other bit that I saw coming, and they've kind of now announced, is that they're looking to make D&D Beyond kind of the front door for all things D&D on the internet. So anytime you need anything D&D specific, obviously, everything's being migrated over to the D&D Beyond website. So you're not going to have to go to like 50 different websites to get, this ruling or that ruling. It's all going to be under one roof, which would be quite nice. But I called that way back when they first sort of bought D&D Beyond that was going to be the case, because it's a really good tool, really good website already. And then for them to be able to integrate everything into that one place just made sense. So I kind of saw that one coming, so I'm glad that that's been announced now. And it's no longer the ramblings of some conspiracy theorist like, well, I think they're going to do this. Yeah, they're doing it, so I was right. Yeah. And then also the introduction of a marketplace for third-party creators on D&D Beyond. So you'll be able to actually sell your homebrew stuff through official channels, which will be pretty cool.
I'm definitely interested in the sort of school and clubs thing, because I've been an advocate for quite some time regarding the sort of positive benefits that you can get from this hobby.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who was at the time studying sort of child psychology and working with schools in order to kind of to help certain kids along. And we were actually discussing this and how beneficial tabletop role-playing can be for the development of kids.
Yeah.
So I do find it encouraging that they have this initiative, and I hope it's something that takes off, because you never know with these things whether they will or they won't, but I do hope it is the case, because I think the benefits far outweigh any sort of downsides.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So and the it's good business as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, looking at it from a cynical business like point of view.
Put your cynic hat on for a minute.
Yeah. My cynic hat never really comes off.
I know.
It tips from time to time. But in this case, it is good business practice.
Yeah.
You know, get kids invested in the hobby from a young age.
Yeah, exactly that. And also by doing it through like the D&D Beyond tool as well, it kind of gets them, they're not only getting into the hobby from a young age, but they're getting used to that tool and that interface as well. So then when they are older and they want to play a game, that's the one that's going to default for them because it's the one they've learned. So I think, yeah, all around it's going to be good for them and for the hobby as a whole.
Yeah, we'll just have to hope it takes off.
That's going to be the telling moment, I guess.
Yeah, so fingers crossed. Wish them all the best in that regard. Right, so on the other side of the proverbial pond, Pathfinder is getting a Diablo-like hack-and-slash video game based on the RPG's most popular adventure, Abomination Vaults.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
You are more of a video gamer than I am.
Yes.
I dabble, but I don't really. I've also played
a crap load of Diablo.
There are a couple of videos out of it, and it does actually look kind of fun.
It looks really good.
Because, it's not going to be the first video game that Pathfinder has licensed to a company. The others being Kingmaker and... I've completely forgotten. Was it Wrath of the Righteous?
Sure.
Something like that, yeah. Which have been really well received, but they're different. They're more like computer role-playing games.
Yeah. Yeah, they were more the stereotypical kind of RPG, whereas this is going to be that sort of action RPG, which is, it's very different. But I think Pathfinder especially will lend itself really well to it. Just because it kind of already, like the tabletop versions of Pathfinder already kind of play a bit like an action RPG. So I think it'll be a really good mix, putting the two together like that.
And it's a great adventure they've chosen as well. I'm currently running it for my Wednesday game. It's a dungeon crawl, but there is so much sort of narrative to it.
Yeah.
That it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just going to go on this level and do this, go on this level, do that. There is an arc to it. There is a story behind it. And it is phenomenal. We're currently finishing up book 2, just about to start book 3. And it is a meat grinder. I think 6 character deaths so far.
Only 6?
In a book and a half, that's pretty good go.
It sounds about right for you, actually, yeah.
I don't know where you're getting this horrible reputation that you are tarnishing me with.
Of the 2 characters I've had in your campaigns, one of them died. I've got a 50% death rate in your campaigns.
No, well, I mean, it's 50-50. I mean, you can't really
it's a coin
use
flip.
that for any empirical evidence whatsoever.
I'm sure there are other people out there that will be able to back up my claims.
No, there aren't.
They're all dead.
They're not listening to this podcast.
Oh, that's right, because they're still in campaigns and they were hoping for spoilers. They all clicked off the minute you said they're not getting any.
Not that, they just kind of went, yeah, I'm not fucking interested, and did better things with their time.
I mean, yeah, that's also a valid point. Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to trying this new
definitely.
Pathfinder game. And it is only one of 2 that were announced. Ooh. So I'm definitely wondering what the next one will be.
Yes. And I'm excited for it. It's a style of game I enjoy playing as well, with a setting that I enjoy. So it'll be good to kind of put the 2 together, I think. Especially, for me anyway.
I'll definitely be giving it a go.
Yeah, why not? I mean, and in news of new content for things. Green Ronin Publishing has announced that Fantasy Age 2nd Edition is going to get a wave of new content.
You mentioned that a few episodes ago, didn't you? The age system. I
did mention the age system a while back. So it's a system that I've played around with quite a bit. There's been a lot of kind of game systems based on it because it is it's a very simple system at its core, right? It's 3d6. So it's very easy to pick up and play. It's very easy to understand for people that don't really know like d20s, d10s, d12s, because it's that kind of jargon that, like, unless you're in the hobby, if I just walk up to a random person in the street and say, "Hey, what's a d20?" they're gonna look at me like I'm a fucking idiot, right?
In our town, they probably think it's some sort of drug. Exactly,
right? Whereas if you just say, like, yeah, you just need 6 dice, people are going to go, oh, 60, or like, you just need 3 dice. Your average person is going to go, that's 3d6, right? Because, well, that's what we would say, but actually, no, we'd probably go, which dice? But yeah, like the average person, when you say dice to an average person, they think of d6, and the fact that the whole game runs with just 3d6 is really, really good.
What I'll do is tomorrow I'll go into town and ask people if they're interested in a 3d6 system until I get arrested.
Yeah, I give it. Actually, I mean, no, you won't get arrested. It's like we live in a town where you probably wouldn't get arrested for that anyway.
Fair, very fair.
But no, like the content's really exciting. So there's a 5-part adventure series, a new bestiary, and a nautical themed campaign setting, which we all love a good boat setting, let's be honest. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see kind of what these do and how they kind of tweak things. There's also going to be there's some new horror rules as well being added to the game, which I know obviously you've been playing and interested in the horror thing you were just saying a fair bit, so that might be interesting for you to have a look at.
I'll definitely take a look.
And yeah, as I said, the new 5-part adventure, which is the Lost Isle of the Pirate Queen. Take the characters from level 1 all the way up to about 11th or 12th level through this campaign, so it should be pretty good.
Series is also easy to modify to suit a group's style and provides a lot of additional background. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely interested. I'm always on the lookout for new systems to try. But the problem is, I'm normally the one who has to GM them. I'd never really get to play.
I can GM you a Fantasy Age setting, so that's fine.
Yeah, please.
We can sort something out. The only thing with this is it's a story we're going to have to report on again because there are no release dates for these products just yet. So as soon as we have those, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely interested in the nautical campaign.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
And it harkens back to my failed but soon to be restarted Skulls and Shackles campaign.
Dude, I really want to play Skulls and Shackles again.
Yeah, I'm converting it to 2nd edition.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, so it's a system I enjoy. There is a book called Smoke and Sail, and it's on Pathfinder Infinite, which is what you were mentioning regarding D&D having sort of like a third-party store. Yeah. Well, Paizo have got that in the form of Pathfinder Infinite.
Oh, okay.
And they've created like ship-to-ship combat rules and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Which is much better than the original Pathfinder First Edition.
Yeah, because that was a little bit clunky.
Yeah, to say the least.
I was trying to be what's the word? PC about it.
It was alright for the GM. It was just boring as fuck for most of the players at the table because everything relied on one player.
One player, yeah, and it wasn't me, so I spent a lot of time on Facebook back then.
That's fair enough. But yeah, so definitely we're gonna kind of try and keep tabs on this Fantasy Age stuff. And once it comes out and Justin runs me through an adventure, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Will he get his revenge for me killing his character?
Absolutely, that's my sole aim. I mean, no, I'm going to run a fair campaign.
I'm sure you will. All right, so the next bit of news, once again, ending on a bit of a high note, is that the Diana Jones Award announces 4 emerging designer winners.
Mm-hmm.
So the Diana Jones Awards, named after the Indiana Jones tabletop RPG, award one person or event each year for excellence in gaming. In the past, this has included game designers, conventions, even concepts like Black Excellence in Gaming or Actual Play.
Mm-hmm.
The Emerging Designer Program is separate to the main awards. The winners are listed below, which I'll go through in a second, but the award amplifies the voices of up-and-coming hobby game designers with a focus on creators from marginalised communities by featuring them during an expenses-paid trip to Gen Con. So the winners are Anthony Joyce Rivera, who wrote for Dungeon Masters Guild, Wizards of the Coast, Critical Role, Matt Colville, and Ghostfire. Aaron Roberts, Written in Blood, Pathfinder, Starfinder, and Hunter the Reckoning, which we were mentioning a couple of episodes ago. Yeah. Kyla Dice, Transgender Deathmatch, How to Embrace a Swamp Creature, The Infinite Dance Floor. And Sen HHS for Pathfinder and Level Up. First thing that springs to mind, I want to know more about How to Embrace a Swamp Creature.
That's not the bit I wanted to know more about. I want to know more about a transgender deathmatch and how that works exactly.
I think both of those things need Googling.
Yeah, I think so. Although I'm not going to type transgender deathmatch into Google. That's how you get arrested.
Well, I mean, my Google search is already fucked anyway.
Yeah, you do that one.
Let's have a look. Okay. Transgender deathmatch legend. You are a transgender deathmatch legend. You built your legend with a tapestry of broken glass, bloody fists, and banging slams. You put the HRT in hurt, and put the hurt on anyone who tries you. Tonight you're going to smash your way across Slamchester. Fucking love the name. Because someone owes you some fucking money. Is this the actual... this is an... Oh, I think this is the actual... Alright, so this is just like a preview of the game.
Right.
By default, this is a 2-player game. One player plays the protagonist. They say what they do in a scene and play cards to try and win in combat. The other player will play the facilitator, playing every other character in and out of combat. That actually seems really fucking interesting. I'm invested in this. So it's a hex crawl beat 'em up.
Okay.
You need a deck of cards to play with combat resolved through a trick-taking game.
I'm down to try it.
Yeah, let's give it a whirl. Let's add that to the list.
Yeah, we'll put that on the list. We'll play that between Fantasy Age sessions.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you found the other one?
No. I've been trying.
Shock horror.
Look, I'm not very good with Google, alright? But it doesn't help that there's also a song with the same name.
Is there?
Yeah. How to Embrace a Swamp Creature is a song. By the Mountain Goats. It was released in 2008. So that keeps coming up.
Let's try RPG on the end. Okay, found it.
Yeah, I just found it as well. I didn't think to put RPG on the end.
Okay, so it's a role-playing game of belonging outside belonging. It's a game for 2 to 6 players as you all play a group of mentally ill post-teens.
I love it.
Living in Swamp Strange, a commuter town wrecked by over a decade of austerity.
I love
All
it.
players share responsibility for setting the mood and tone of the game, creating trouble and conflict, sharing the spotlight and spotlighting your setting, looking after each other however you can.
Yeah, we're going to add this to the list as well.
Oh, definitely.
It's only $15? That's a really good price. Oh, yeah, we're going to have to give that a try. Put it on the list.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for $15, man.
You can't go wrong.
And the Transgender Deathmatch was also $15.
Nice. Love it.
So, yeah, I'm out $30 right now.
Cool. I'll get the snacks.
Honestly, I've got to stop spending money on RPGs.
I mean, no?
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, my money goes on, like, the kids, food, RPGs.
Yeah.
That is it. That is my money.
Exactly. Mine goes on 3D printers, because apparently I can't get enough of them.
So, I've kind of gone down a rabbit hole. Because obviously going from How to Embrace a Swamp Creature, it's using a system called Belonging Outside Belonging.
Oh, so now you're looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is going to get dangerous. Can I make a suggestion?
That we stop? Belonging Outside Belonging games are played with no dice and no masters. Everyone collaborates on world building through a community worksheet, and control of broader setting elements is distributed around the table.
Do you know what that sounds a lot like, actually? A board game that I played a while back, which I think you'd really enjoy if you haven't tried it yet. Dead of Winter.
That rings a bell.
It's really good. So it's a zombie survival game. But it's co-op, but there is a chance that one of the party members is a betrayer.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the betrayer has a mission to do something that would negatively impact the colony, right? But obviously, everybody else is trying to save themselves and everyone else, right? Now, you can vote people out of the colony and essentially you just kick them out, and then they just go off on their own, right? But it's just a really, really interesting game, and it's a lot of fun to play. So I would recommend playing it if you haven't. Yeah,
I don't really play board games all that often, but yeah.
It's a really good one.
I'll give it a whirl. Right, okay, so you would like to talk about cosplay.
Yes.
Which is something that I have no authority on whatsoever.
Same. Basically, it's something I've always had mad respect for cosplay people, right? Because some of the stuff they do is insane, just insane. Some of the costumes that I've seen at Comic Cons and stuff like that, and even Insomnia Gaming Festival that I go to, right? Which is all PC gaming, but they have a bit kind of like a Comic Con type hall, like an exhibit hall, where people do dress up as video game characters and stuff like that as well, and they'll go in there and do stuff. And it's I've always just had mad respect for it, because it takes insane dedication and skill to create the stuff that they create, right? And even more so to the people who do it for their characters when they're playing D&D or whatever, right? Because obviously we all play this person that we've created, right? This character we've created, to a degree, but obviously some people take it to a next level. They'll do, some of us just do don't even do a voice. We'll just play the character, right? That's me. I'm one of these people. I barely do a voice when I'm role playing and stuff like that. I just be me. Other people will throw a voice on top of the character, or change some mannerisms, or their speech flow or whatever. And then obviously you've got some people who go whole hog, dress up in character and role play everything. And it's something that I've always been really intrigued by, because it's something that I've up until recently not had not the ability to do, but the ability to do easily, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's something that, like I said, takes a lot of time and dedication, and I didn't want to dedicate that time and stuff to it if I couldn't do it, right? Or if I didn't have it in me. Well, not couldn't do it. So getting this new 3D printer that I got, and getting a lot more adventurous in the projects I've been doing for my table, I thought that it might be fun with this new kind of character and this new look on role play elements over gaming mechanics, like kind of stance I've taken in recent times, to take it that next kind of step and start getting into the actually being in character at the table side of things. And I just kind of wanted to have a chat and see what your thoughts on that whole kind of thing was. Like, you know, people getting really into it at the table.
I agree with you in the sense of having respect for people who spend incredible amounts of time, effort, and money into cosplay.
Yes.
It's something that has never really interested me. It's never... At no point have I ever gone to a Comic-Con and kind of gone, "Oh, I wish I was dressed up." It's... You know, I don't see it as being something that I would
enjoy.
Yeah, I don't see it as something I wouldn't particularly enjoy. And that goes for role-playing as well. I wouldn't come to a role-playing session dressed up. It's, again, not for me. But I have played with people who have done it, who've come in and they've put a lot of effort into what they're wearing for various reasons. Some people use it as a form of expression.
Yep.
Some people like to do it because they like to you know, get a bit of the spotlight on them, and I see it as anything else in this hobby, that as long as it's in moderation, as long as it's something that doesn't become disruptive, then yeah, fill your boots.
Yeah. I mean, it's... sorry, I literally got a message as you finished that sentence, and I got horrifically distracted there. It's one of those things where, like, I've had people, like, even in my current game, we've got somebody who's not doing it like whole hog, right? But they're playing an elf character, and they do wear like elf ears and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things that, like, it's always kind of, it's always interested me, but it's never interested me to the point where I was like, yeah, let me give it a go.
I kind of see that.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it necessarily adds anything to the game, but it does add to the experience of the game.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly
which, you know, can only really, again, as long as it's not being done obnoxiously and...
Yeah.
It can only add. It can only be enjoyable for a paladin to turn up wearing a suit of armour.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's what someone did in one of my PFS games.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And he was in two minds about going over the road to the nearest store to buy some snacks and whatnot. And of course I convinced him to do that.
Yeah, standard.
And but yeah, he came wearing a suit of armor.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic because, you know, you walk away and whatever happens in the game, you'll always remember, but you will always remember the session as well.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
You know, I thought it was fantastic, and you know, if you've got someone in one of your games who comes wearing elf ears, encourage the person.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
and it's because they're quite new to the hobby, right? This is their first game that they've ever played. Is this game, right? And I, as somebody who is more experienced at the table, I'm not going to say experienced at the table because we both know that that's not true. More experienced at the table. The last thing I want to do is be, you know, one of those people that's like, well, why are you doing that? You know, don't do that. That's stupid. Like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that guy. And it's something that I've never tried before. So I feel like it's one of those things as well that until I've done it, I can't really give an opinion on it, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And just for the record, if you are that guy, stop. If you are that person that's going to question people,
Yeah.
deciding to cosplay a bit for a tabletop role-playing game, fucking stop.
Yeah.
Just
exactly that.
don't be you for a bit.
It's how they have fun. Let them have fun. Piss off.
It's not harming anyone.
Exactly, and I think that's the kind of. Honestly, I think if you take anything away from the two of us rambling on like freaking morons on a weekly basis, right? It's that unless it harms the game, who gives a shit, right? If it's not harming anyone, it's not going to get in the way of things. Just let people have fun.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think as well, like it's like this in particular for me is something that I think it might actually help me with the whole getting into character thing. Because I mean, we've discussed it quite a lot, in previous episodes. How I struggle with the role play element of the role playing games.
You're not
choose
the
the
only,
name, Justin.
You are not the only one.
Oh no, I know.
It's quite common.
And I think this is one of those things. Like it's a part of the game that I really want to devote more effort towards. Right, is getting into a character and not becoming the character. That's maybe a bit hopeful at the moment, but like just differentiating between me and this person, like this character, right? Or even differentiating between that character and that character, like after a character death or somebody gets written out or something like that. Being able to, so that when you're sitting at the table, they're not just like, oh, that's Justin's wizard or that's Justin's cleric or whatever, right? That when you're talking in character, it feels like it's that person.
Do you remember when we first started in Scott's game, he had that skull?
Yeah.
That he used to bring and say, and basically said, if you are talking out of character, you need to do it with your hand on the skull.
Yes.
And nobody fucking listened to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
that lasted for all of 5 seconds.
I feel bad about that one. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Scott, if you're listening, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
We're sorry, Scott. But I do get you, and I think part of the problem, or part of your struggle, should I say, to get into roleplay is because you're still playing D&D, which is a system that that you know the mechanics of. So the moment you start building your character, you immediately go to the mechanical side of things.
Yeah.
I think to develop roleplay, you need to be dumped into a system that you have no fucking clue what's going on.
Like my little rat folk dude in your 2E game.
Yeah.
He was so stupid.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was a great concept.
It was brilliant, but he was stupid at the same time.
But yeah, something like that, or something where, your only option is to say to the GM, this is what I want to do, and the GM is the one who's going to say, right, this is how you do it mechanically.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I think you are right, because, like you say, like, it's very hard for me to have that disconnect of mechanics and role playing in a system that I know as well as 5e, because the minute I start coming up with a concept, my brain immediately locks itself to this archetype, this subclass, that because I know that works, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I've tried to not do with this warlock that I've created, right? My warlock was very... I kind of went down the list and I didn't choose the optimal route. I deliberately didn't choose the optimal route. I chose what I thought would be cool instead. And honestly, it's actually one of the characters, which is part of the reason that I felt it's the right one to start doing this with. It's one of the first characters in a long time that I've built and been excited to play outside of combat.
Yeah.
Because every other character I've built, I'm like, I can't wait until that first combat. Whereas this is the first character since, I would say, Quill. You know, the rogue that lived in the tree. Which only happened twice. But
I wonder if he's still up there.
Of course he is. She is. It was a she. I keep forgetting that. It's my character, and I keep forgetting that. But I think since Quill, this is the first character that I've built that I haven't built around combat mechanics.
That for me is a symptom of the 3.5 sort of family of systems.
Yeah.
Pathfinder kind of encouraged that sort of optimization route, because if you didn't, you'd create something useless.
Yeah, which I did experience as well. I don't know if you remember that grappler that I built in your Skulls and Shackles campaign.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that one I killed?
No, it was the one before that you killed. That's what brought in the grappler.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have killed that one.
You should have killed the grappler, yeah. But I honestly, that was also the last time I played Pathfinder was that grappler, and I think it was because I had that not disheartening moment. That's not the right words. I don't think. I think I had that realization that unless I build mechanically, it's not gonna work. If that makes sense.
No, it completely makes sense, and that is now kind of seeing it from afar. That is what I consider to be one of the major pitfalls of Pathfinder First Edition. And I know there's going to be a group of people out there.
Oh no, you can't say that. Yeah.
Complaining. But,
of course there is.
You know, try me, see if I give a fuck.
But I think honestly as well, I think that's probably the moment I would say that probably set me down a bit of a power gamer route, is I never wanted that to happen again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any fault of anything other than I had a concept that the mechanics didn't support.
No, the mechanics were really against you on that one. I
exactly,
remember,
yeah.
I remember looking at it up and kind of going, is that really what you want to do? Again, because, you know, the system fostered that sort of mentality. Yeah,
and I think it's only recently that I've kind of managed to snap myself out of it, because... or not even snap myself out of it, that's probably the wrong words, but convince myself that it's okay not to do that. And honestly, I think it's what's done it, and I'm going to encourage a lot of people who are in that mindset to do this. Play with new players and watch what they do. Right? Because that's what kind of made me decide that this is okay. Not decide that this is okay, but like experiment with this, right? Is the table that I'm playing at now is a player who's never played before, a player who hasn't played in like eons and is coming back to the hobby because his wife plays, like is starting, which is the new player. Another player who has only just really started playing, this year, and somebody who has been playing as long as I have, but has only just started DMing. So the whole table is very new at what they're doing. And he's also DMing in a system that he doesn't know, right? Because, I mean, you know who the DM I'm talking about is. He doesn't know 5e, right? He comes from a Pathfinder background. So he's learning the system whilst learning to DM, which is cool. There's learning curves there. We've had a few bumps in the road, but we've had chats about it and we're all on the same page, so it's all good. Which, again, is something I would really recommend. If you have issues at the table, be a grown-up, have a conversation. Chances are they'll welcome the feedback.
Or they'll tell you to fuck off.
Either or, but either way you get your answer. They either take the feedback and your game improves, or they tell you to fuck off and you go find a different group.
See, I sit on my ivory throne, so you can shove your feedback up your ass.
But the point I was making was, watching what these new players have done with their characters is they haven't built them mechanically optimally, but they've built them to what they thought would be cool. And they're having fun. They might struggle in the odd encounter, or they might struggle in the odd scene because they don't have the, they don't have the right spell for that situation prepared because they weren't expecting it But, that's like experience teaches you that, right? Like, I know that if I'm playing a cleric and this is very likely going to happen tomorrow, I'll prepare different spells to what I would normally have prepared because I'm expecting this to happen or whatever, right? That's just experience. But going through, like, one of the new players, the half-elf, that she's playing a sorceress. And the spells that she took when she built the character, she took because they interested her. She thought they would be cool mechanically. And, like, from a power gamer point of view, they're not good spells, right? But the way she's used them and the way that she's used them with the group has been really cool and really interesting, and it's actually led to a couple of really cool moments where, like, one of her spells is to basically enchant a quiver to do, like, some extra bits and pieces, right?
Yeah.
And she did that to the fight, because, like, for a sorcerer as a whole, that's a really shitty spell to have, because obviously sorcerers in 5e can't change out spells and all that sort of thing, right? Because they get their magic naturally through their bloodline, or, like, however they've attained it, but it's like a natural part of them. So doing something that would affect arrows is not really beneficial to a sorcerer, because no sorcerer uses arrows, right? But she has this spell, and the logic of, well, the magic comes from within me, I can't control what spells I have, and having the spell and then finding a way to use that to benefit in a situation was really cool, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I think having those kind of moments where they're choosing things because they think it'll be cool, and then finding a way to make them cool in the game, kind of made me look at the way I play and go, there is a different way to do this.
Yeah, there is, and it is. I agree with you in the sense of watching new players, because new players don't have the sort of mechanical savvy in which to focus their characters. They only know this is my character, this is an avatar for me, and this is what I want to be doing, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when you bring in new players, they're the ones that, for the first few sessions, are just going to be kicking the tires, finding out what shit they can get away with and what they can do, and having a GM that will cater to that.
Roll with those punches, yeah.
Yeah, is
yeah. Like we had with Scott.
Yeah, Scott was brilliant. Scott was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, we joke and say the amount of shit we put him through, but we tried. But time and time again, he'd just kind of go, yeah, all right, if that's what you want to do, let's do it.
Especially, like, some of the shit you guys pulled after I moved away was, like, I got regular updates. I was like, what the fuck?
Yes, I do have to kind of take the blame on a lot of that.
Yeah.
What I would recommend in order to kind of change your sort of focus on role playing, and this worked for me, and it's not something that I did consciously. I did it. It garnered a laugh, and that for me is like crack.
Yeah.
So I did it more and more and more. And what I did was basically sell failures. So when I rolled a natural 1, it wouldn't be a case of, shit, I've missed. It would be, I'd come up with this weird random happening that he's done. Like, he fucking slipped over and cracked his skull or something
stubbed his toe as he stepped forward.
And I garnered a reaction from the table for that.
Oh, see, my issue with that is I rolled too many nat 1s to do something like that. I'd run out of fucking shit after one.
Yeah, you've got to come up with... Get ChatGPT up.
Yeah, I was about to say, I need to get, like, ChatGPT or something.
Crit failures, like, just non-stop crit failures.
Give me 5,000 crit failure, please.
And then next week we'll do 5,000 more.
Oh, no, that's just for the first round.
But definitely, cosplaying at the table, it's not something I would do. But I'm definitely in favour of it, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see your project. I was going to say, I can't wait to see your stuff, but that would sound sexual.
I mean, yeah, but well, that's the thing as well. It's going to be more than just the staff, because that's just the starting point, right? You know, I'm planning to do the staff. There's a few other bits that I'm looking to print for it, but essentially, I am looking to eventually have this whole character kind of built.
Yeah.
In like not on paper. if that,
yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I completely get it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure of the right phrasing for it, because obviously cosplay is not something that I've done. But yeah, like I essentially want to have this entire character fleshed out into an actual like thing that I can you know put on and do at the table, and I'm looking forward to it. It's really exciting for me.
Do you know what my gripe would be if someone did that at my table? I'd feel worse when I killed their characters.
Yeah, but see, I personally wouldn't care, because I've got the 3D print and the tools to make a new character.
So, you know, if someone puts all this effort into dressing like their character, and they get, I don't know, Phantasmal Killer, which takes him, just completely kills him. Like, yeah, that's
my take on dying there though is just make better choices.
Yeah, but I mean, there are the death effects in Pathfinder Second Edition. Kind of take choice out of the equation.
Well, no, they put themselves in that situation where they could have died. They didn't have to.
I gotta love Phantasmal. I got 2 characters in 2 games with Phantasmal Killer in the same week.
Oh, that's brutal, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking brutal. And the chances of being able to pull it off are really slim. It's one of these you need to really fuck up. And the first time it happened, I just went, so yeah, you're dead.
Wait, nope.
Oh,
what about nope?
Nope, you're dead. And yeah, so that wasn't well received. It was a bit funny, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't well received. But I would have felt worse had they come dressed up as their character. Not a lot worse, but a bit worse.
It'd be funny though.
Right. Shall we get a question?
Fire away. I know we've got one, because the person who sent it in told me earlier at the pub that they put in a question, but they wouldn't tell me what it was. So
I know, and I refused to tell you what it was.
Yeah,
once
so
I learned that information.
I have no idea what this question is.
It's actually quite apt. And first of all, this question comes in once again from our good friend Couch. Yes. I think because he's sent in so many questions.
Oh, I literally told him today that we need to have him on the show so we can ask these questions live.
Well, that is one thing, yeah, but I think we need to somehow immortalise him on the show. So I was thinking, instead of saying, you know, should we deal with some questions or whatever it is I say, should we go to Couch's Corner?
I love it.
Either Couch's Corner or should we go to the couch? Although that does sound like I'm coming on to you.
It does. I like that one. Let's do that one.
Let's go.
And the couch is all covered in saran wrap, right?
Oh, saran wrap everywhere, just in case.
Yeah.
So, Justin, do you want to join me on the couch?
Yeah, let's go to the couch.
Okay, so I've recently started playing Pathfinder Kingmaker on the PS4. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on dedicated video games based around tabletop role-playing games and modules that take everything from the source and try to realise them on the screen? Which is a very appropriate question.
It is, actually, considering all the talk about the new Pathfinder game earlier. I think trying to take an actual module and do it, like, dead on, like, to what's in the book is always going to be very difficult in a video game. Just because the mechanics are so different, right?
The mechanics are limited.
Yeah. And the choices that you can make in a video game to get past, like, a puzzle or something like that is going to be restricted to what the dev has decided, right? Whereas in any kind of tabletop version of the same thing, it's endless, right? You could come up with literally any solution to a problem in a module, and as long as your DM is not even flexible enough, that's the wrong word, but open-minded enough, we'll go with, to look beyond what's on the text in front of them. If it's plausible and it's just something that the devs never thought of, which, let's be honest, they're humans, right? They're going to have, when they're writing something like that, they're going to have a solution in mind when they're writing it. But if you come up with something that also works, it would work. Which you're never going to really be able to capture in a video game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it, isn't it? Video games are by definition limited to their programming. Obviously, kind of barring mods and like the modding community and all that. But video games, as produced, as distributed, are limited to what has been put in, the work that has been put in. And there are games that have attempted to kind of bring the tabletop experience to the big screen. Big screen, not the big screen. The screen in general. So the ones that I'm mostly familiar with are the Pathfinder Owlcat games. Kingmaker, which is the one that Couch is currently playing.
Yeah.
It's very good. It's a great game. It is a great fucking game. And they do manage to capture a lot of the Pathfinder experience, especially seeing as their official release now does have the turn-based combat and etc. And you build a character like you would build him in Pathfinder. So in that respect, yeah, they've done well. But for me personally, it doesn't quite scratch the itch.
Yeah.
That I would get playing a tabletop role-playing game. What it does do, though, is it introduces a brand new market to the IP.
Yes.
Which, if it's a D&D based game, it's going to be D&D IP. Yeah. If it's Pathfinder, it's going to be Galarian, which is so incredibly rich that it has, and I've seen it happen on the forums and on the Facebook, like on the different Facebook groups I'm a part of. People have actually been brought into the fold because they've played Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Yeah,
and that can only be a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think something you said there is kind of, I think the key for me is it doesn't quite scratch the itch. Like, if you are a tabletop player, right, playing a video game that tries to be true to the tabletop content, you're always going to have something in the back of your head. It's like, well, why not just go play with my actual dice? With, I've got the book, I'll just go play it. Which is why I always prefer if they set the game in the world, right? So you get used to like some of the lore, some of the settings, stuff like that, but do something a little bit more, not original, that's the wrong word, but it is kind of what I mean. But do something new with it rather than just rehashing something that already exists. Because it's, if you've played the book, right? If it's a module that they've already that exists, you've played the book, you're already going to kind of know the game for a start. So that kind of ruins that element a little bit for those players. If you play the game and then want to get into and you come the other way, it's really good because you start getting used to the systems and stuff like that. But I think going the other way, you're always going to struggle with it because you're always going to have that little bit that's like, yeah, but I can just go play it for real. So I think that kind of game is really good for bringing new people to tabletop gaming. I don't think it's designed for going the other way, for tabletop gamers to go into gaming.
I get what you mean, but I do slightly disagree. Again, using Kingmaker as an example.
Yeah.
If I were to say, right, I want to play Kingmaker, that means I've got to make a commitment for a year, maybe even 2, depending on the speed that the party goes through it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from there, yeah.
So, yes, while you can kind of, get a hold of the story, you can play the story on the tabletop, it's a lot more accessible in like video game format, because I'm not going to run Kingmaker. It's out of all the Pathfinder adventure paths that I looked up and kind of thought about running, Kingmaker wasn't even in the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just didn't interest me.
Didn't resonate, yeah.
So the only way I'm going to experience Kingmaker is either if someone does it as an actual play, or if I play the video game.
Yeah.
Wrath of the Righteous, the other Owlcat Pathfinder game that came out, is based on another adventure path. And the adventure path that it's based on is always kind of slated, because that's when they introduced the mythic rules for Pathfinder, which essentially broke the fucking game.
I mean...
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
It was already kind of broken to begin with.
Oh, you never played with Mythic.
No, I didn't.
Scott did it in his campaign.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Immediately fucking regretted it.
Yeah.
So that put me off playing running that AP.
Yeah.
Just going, I don't want to give players Mythic and just I may as well give them the fucking book to read.
Yeah.
So that is probably the only way I'm going to experience Wrath of the Righteous, is by playing the video game. Abomination Vaults, the latest one that's coming out, that I'm currently playing. And I'm still going to play the video game. Just because I think that AP in particular really lends itself to a hack and slash. And, I definitely think there is a reason, or there is a rationale to kind of going from the tabletop to the video game.
Yeah. I mean, after what you've said there, I could definitely see where you're coming from, because you don't have to do the commit and try and get 3 other people, 4 other people, 5 other people to make that same commit. So I get where you're coming from with that. I think for me, I prefer... It might just be that the gamer in me, because obviously I'm very... I struggle with change in games. For example, in Old School RuneScape, right, which is a game I play a lot of, I find it really difficult to go to a different character on that, because everything I'm doing, I'm like, well, I'll just go do it on my main. Why am I playing an old one? I can just go do it on my main. And it's kind of that same mindset for me, so it might just be my mindset with it is... why would I go and play the digital version when I can just go play the actual version? But saying that, I did literally stream playing Munchkin on Steam, the Steam version of Munchkin the other day, which is literally the same as the board game version, just digitally. So I'm being a massive hypocrite right now.
Well, not really. I mean, because is the Munchkin, is that on, what's it called, Tabletop Simulator?
I don't know. So the Munchkin I was playing is actually just it's Munchkin Digital. It's just the digital version of the game available on Steam, and it's literally the way it plays and everything is the same as the board, the tabletop version of the board game. It's exactly the same. The only difference, obviously, is, and I think it's part of the reason that I kind of went to it, is finding people to play Munchkin with, like you said, it's getting that commit to actually sit down with a group of people and play it. It's quite difficult. I've got a version of Munchkin that I got for my birthday last year, and we're fast approaching my birthday this year, and I've never taken it out the box because I just don't have people to play it with. Right? I've got a Disney version of Munchkin sitting in my kitchen right now, waiting to be played, that I've just never had a chance to play.
This is low-key heartbreaking. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. But having the digital version, you can play against AI, you can play online against people all over the world and all that sort of thing. And I think so I get the convenience of it is a lot more beneficial, to kind of get get into things and get through things. So yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. It was a really long-winded way of saying, yeah, I get where you're coming from.
I mean, I've made it no secret that I am not a D&D player.
Yeah.
And I've got...
No, I didn't know that about you.
No, did you not? Okay, well...
No, yeah.
May come up at some point. And my exposure to D&D and the Forgotten Realms and all that is very, very limited. However, I think it is on Xbox. You've got Neverwinter.
Yes.
Which every now and again I will pick up and play. Not that I'm particularly interested in, but it does give me the exposure to some of Wizards of the Coast lore.
Yes.
If Pathfinder, Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous, Abomination Vaults, all these games, for Pathfinder do the same for Galarian, then I can only see it as a good thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think for me it's just the duplication of content essentially is my only real issue with it. I personally would prefer to play a new adventure or a new storyline rather than something that already exists. But I didn't really think about what you were saying of it's the convenience of experiencing that adventure or that storyline. I hadn't really thought of it that way. So yeah.
So yeah, I think there is a place for tabletop role-playing game inspired video games.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
There's a definite place for it, and we've just been talking about one that we're both going to be playing at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm playing it.
Some hack and slash. The vaults are awesome, by the way.
And well, that's the thing. The thing I love about that style of game, and the fact that you said that the adventure path they've chosen is a dungeon crawly adventure path, I think is going to be great for that, because that's in those kind of hack and slash games, you want that dungeon crawl. That's what the original Diablo had. Diablo 2 was great, kind of lost its way on the dungeon crawly element because it was a lot more world exploring. Diablo 3 I love. I actually love Diablo 3 and I can't wait for Diablo 4. But they kind of lost their way a bit with the dungeon crawly elements. Although they seem to have found that again with Diablo 4, I'm hoping. But having an alternative option in this new Pathfinder game will be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Couch, for once again saving us and giving us something to do. If you have any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to send them in. I will post the link to the form in the description of this episode. I will also post an email address from which you can contact us. I want to thank my co-host Justin for spending some time with me. From pulling himself away from Coronation News.
Oh yeah, it's been riveting. I've definitely had it all over my TV that hasn't been turned on in 2 days.
I've had it all over my chest. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Justin, and thanks to everyone for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please leave a review, leave us a rating. That's how we get more exposure. That's how we get more listeners, and hopefully that's how we can produce more content. Justin, do you want to tell people where on the interwebs you may be located? Yes,
so this will change from the previous episodes because I have rebranded my online presence.
I'm excited.
Again, I kept this under wraps. I'm so proud of myself. I'm doing so well.
You've done super well today.
I'm so good at this now. I'm almost a professional.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, so the new place that you can find me all over the interwebs, by all over I mean Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch, is Just Inaccurate TV.
I love it.
Right?
I love everything about it.
Right?
I think it's fucking fantastic.
It took me so long to come up with.
That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
But yeah, I actually did my first Twitch stream last night on the new name.
And how did it go?
It went pretty well. It was pretty good. I was playing a game called Prop Night.
Hey.
It's basically prop hunt where you can hide as like objects in the game.
I've seen
mixed
that.
mixed with a game called Dead by Daylight, which is like a survivor versus killer game. So there's one killer, four survivors, and you're trying to like repair these generators to power the doors to escape. So it's kind of that element, but in Dead by Daylight, if you get seen, you just have to run away and try and like outplay them. Whereas in Prop Night, you run away and then you try and like turn into something like a prop and just hide like in plain sight. So you'll just be like, your turn is like a lantern and just sit on the table and like hope to fuck they don't see you. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Really
Does sound a load of fun. So yeah, check out Justin's stream. I'm sure you will be entertained. In my case, you'll be far less entertained. But you can find me at Natural Juan on most of the social media sites, Twitter, Mastodon, and Instagram. We also now have a Facebook group, which just search for Too Legit to Crit on Facebook and you will find us. Come join us for any up-to-date news. And other than that, I just want to thank everyone for spending some of their time listening to us. It means the world to me.
Which I was very surprised today to find out that people are actually doing.
Yeah, it's the first time we've actually discussed numbers.
Yes, yeah. Up until now, I thought it was literally just like the few people that I knew listening, and I found out today that it's not. There is more of you out there, so thank you to all of you, because I never thought that anyone would ever actually listen to two idiots talking about nonsense.
Well, it is happening. It's weird, I know, but we are being listened to.
Right?
Right. It's crazy.
It's mental.
So, once again, thank you ever so much for coming and listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Good night, everyone.
Bye.